Hello, I'm John Roberts, and welcome to the CBS Evening News Online Edition. Just ahead, tracking Tropical Storm Katrina. Mark Strassman will have the latest for us on the storm's position and the forecast as to where it's going to go. And we'll have the inside story of the near miraculous escape by an American couple from that Peruvian jet crash. And what happens to some towns when military bases close? You might be surprised. It's all starting now on the CBS Evening News Online Edition. And Bob is off tonight. Hurricane watches are up tonight along the Atlantic coast of Florida. Katrina, the 11th tropical storm of the season, is heading for landfall there within 36 hours and likely as a hurricane. It could dump well over a foot of rain, and it could be a 1-2 tropical punch with a second landfall on the Gulf Coast. Mark Strassman in Miami has the latest.
Floridians are not just storm-weary, but hurricane-haggard. And who could blame them? Last year, 4 major hurricanes crisscrossed and pummeled the state. Total damage, including uninsured losses, may have topped $40 billion. Now comes more trouble, named Katrina.
Fruit, toilet paper, tuna fish.
Menacing South Florida as a possible hurricane. So people here today began a familiar summer ritual.
No, we're not taking any chances.
Stocking up at grocery stores and gas stations. Suddenly, the cost to fill the tank seemed a lot less worrisome than the path of the storm itself. By early Friday, Katrina will hit somewhere on Florida's heavily populated southeast coast. And it has a combination hurricane trackers like to see least. Slow moving and still developing over warm waters.
There's some possibility here that this is going to be a stronger storm by the time it gets to the coast. There's a lot of warm water. Gulf Stream is a very deep source of energy.
Today's storm watch falls on a dark anniversary for South Floridians. 13 years ago today, Hurricane Andrew ripped through here, a Category 5 battering ram that flattened entire neighborhoods. It was the most costly natural disaster in U.S. history, scarring not just South Florida's landscape, but its psyche. So now any storm gets serious attention, and Katrina could bring 20 inches of rain by Saturday.
Katrina is the 11th named storm already this year, and if history's any guide, the worst is yet to come. Peak hurricane season is third week in September. John?
Mark Strassman on the Storm Watch for us tonight. Mark, thanks. Authorities in Peru tonight suspect the combination of bad weather and pilot error caused a jetliner crash that killed at least 31 people, including at least 2 Americans. It happened yesterday in Peru's remote Amazon jungle, and the remarkable thing is that so many of those on board the plane survived. Bob Orr has the inside story.
Just moments before the Peruvian jetliner slammed into a jungle marsh, passenger Monica Glenn knew the plane was in serious trouble.
We began feeling some turbulence, which was very slight at first, and then it became stronger and stronger. And the next thing I knew, there were people screaming. Our plane hit the ground. There were flames coming from the cockpit.
The Irvine, California woman on her honeymoon began looking for a way out of the burning wreckage.
I was sitting in the middle of the plane, and I tried to exit through the side door. Unfortunately, by the time I had made myself near the exit, the flames from the front end of the plane were already traveling back. So my husband and I had to turn, and we exited the plane through the back.
The couple and other survivors fought their way through heavy weather and a knee-deep swamp to get away from the crash site before the jet's fuel tanks exploded.
There was heavy rain. We walked as quickly as we could away from the aircraft. There were a group of about 20 of us. And then we saw the smoke coming from the plane, and we heard this explosion.
Not everyone got out. At least 31 of the nearly 100 people on board died in the crash and fire. Monica Glenn knows she was lucky.
Of course, there was lots of screaming, pushing, shoving. My husband, bless his heart, he protected me, and because of that, his hands are completely scorched. He needs surgery. His face is also burned. Of course, my first worry is that we are in a hospital here in Peru. It's not the capital, and so medical treatment is limited here.
Wind shear may be to blame for this crash. Just before the plane went down, the pilots radioed they were battling heavy storms in an attempt to land. Luckily, the plane hit flat enough to give Monica Glenn, her husband, and at least 4 dozen others a chance. John?
Wow, every traveler's nightmare. Bob Orr in Washington. Bob, thanks. A federal review panel today began voting on the list of dozens of major U.S. military bases to be closed around the country to save money. President Bush and Congress do get the final say, but the panel today overruled the Pentagon on 3 big base closings, sparing 2 U.S. Navy bases in New England and the Red River Army Depot in Texas. And as Cynthia Bowers reports for us tonight, past experience shows that even when a base is closed, it can actually pave the way for economic renewal.
When you walk along these inviting suburban sidewalks, it's hard to imagine that not so long ago these roadways were Navy runways, until Glenview got the call no military town wants to get.
What was Glenview's reaction when you found out the Naval Air Station was being closed?
The initial reaction is shock. And unfortunately, when you get past the shock, then you kind of get angry. It's like, why our base? What did we do wrong?
After all, this Naval Air Station on the shores of Lake Michigan played a pivotal role during World War II, providing a safe harbor to train pilots for action in the Pacific. When it was targeted for closure in 1992, it meant a loss of 2,000 Navy and 400 civilian jobs. City leaders quickly devised a survival plan.
What are some of the things that go into the thought process of changing from a base to a civilian economy?
We wanted to create something here to both take advantage of needs that we knew we had, and then to start dreaming. What would our community want to become if we really took full advantage of this property?
Glenview took advantage by turning the 1,100-acre base into a new billion-dollar downtown, with shops, restaurants,